There was, when they come back from the planet for the first time, they had the breathing apparatus on their back. When Alex and Destin came out of the thing, they were doing the scene, but the thing started falling apart. And so one of the actors was holding one person's costume that was falling apart and then grabbed the other one, and everyone's trying to do the scene. But these guys did a good job of keeping it together, but there came a certain point where we all broke. Like, it was just too silly, too ridiculous.
You can actually see it in the movie. The scene where we're all sitting together at the table eating food, and then it like reacts. You can see my face and Andrew's face trying to look away from camera, because we filmed that scene probably like 4 or 5 times, and Destin is just so funny with his. So that was probably my personal favorite scene.
Yeah, speaking of Destin, when he went full mind control mode, that scene went for a lot longer too, but Matt ended up cutting it down because he like falls on the ground. He's like, "The robot's controlling our minds." I couldn't. It was too funny.
Which I regret cutting that.
You regret cutting it?
I regret cutting that part. Yeah, if you would have kept it.
And the corn dog scene.
The corn dog scene. Yeah, the corn dog scene and that part were 2 parts that I cut short, but I should have left them longer.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, loved the movie. It was awesome. That song at the end was super sick. So if you guys made that an original song, amazing. I got it on Spotify. So
Isaac.
sick with that.
Yeah.
Isaac and Hyper.
Isaac, I figured. I saw his name. Isaac, good job. My question, at least when I was watching it at the end climax, I know that you guys are believers. I love Jesus in your videos and are very open about that. Was that something you were thinking about when you were making the movie, about doing the right thing when no one's watching, and just from that perspective of a Christian, of just like living your life for the Lord like that was?
That's a good question. I'll let Matt start, because he actually wrote the film, so kind of like go into that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like as you get older, you're going to go through experiences that you feel are not right, that you're being treated in a way that's not right. But we wanted to push the message that it's still worth it to do the right thing, because even if no one else sees, God sees, and He is just, and He does repay.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to that, 100%, and we wanted to make a movie that wasn't like so on the nose with it. We want to make entertaining content and really creative things, and so with that message being like subtle but clear, we wanted it to be like just that wrap into like what we believe in, exactly what Matt's saying. So yeah.
Are you guys gonna make a second movie, or are you just gonna make a different movie, like another movie, but like something based off differently?
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, that's something we talked about. Like I said at the beginning, we are working on the next movie, which for the next one, we're thinking not doing a sequel yet to this one, even though it was kind of an open-ended ending with the cutscene there. So yeah, I'd say it's in our minds that we want to do both sometime.
Yeah. But currently, we're working on, we've been having some story meetings on the second one, and like I said, we want to drop like one a year if we can. But man, movie making is hard, so we'll be talking a little bit about that at the end if you guys want to be a part of that in some way. So we'll get to that a little later.
I noticed that when Robbie and Phil were eating their wings and talking, the salt shaker was slowly spinning around. What was that about?
Yeah, we definitely did not think that one through. We got the salt shaker that was floating. We thought it was like perfect for like a space movie, and it was spinning. But one scene, it was obviously, it stopped spinning, so we spinned it. And it was just spinning way too fast, and like it just happened to be that the salt was just kind of off. When we showed it on the Family and Friends premiere, one of our friends came up and was like, "Was there a deeper message behind the salt?" We're like, no.
Yes.
Oh, well.
You tell them yes.
Sorry, yes.
What made you guys do the theme of the movie?
The theme, man. Like, we went pretty ambitious with this first one. Doing a sci-fi is probably one of the most difficult movies because of just many different things. Obviously, one, we've never made a movie before. So, like, knowing what we know now, we would have built the set a lot differently, but we built it like an actual, like, house versus, like, building walls that can move. But we wanted to just go all out with this first one because it's like it could be our one and only chance. But Andrew, you want to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, if you don't know, we have a pretty large warehouse at our content place that we make videos out of, and we were thinking that this is such a unique situation we're in where we can build anything we want inside this warehouse. And what's the coolest thing you could build? So that was sort of like a little inspiration there. It's like, well, why don't we build a spaceship? What? Why not? It's just a cool opportunity we had to build something like that. So there was the beginning.
Yep.
You were asking about the theme?
Theme, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why sci-fi?
Yeah, the guys came to me and they said they wanted a sci-fi mystery whodunit. And I thought that sounds pretty cool to me. And then if you're talking about the moral of the story, I think you're always trying to find okay, that's the idea, but what's the message behind it? And that's just kind of what we came up with.
What was your most expensive video?
This movie. Aside from that, though, it would probably be the homemade submarine because we spent months building it. Samuel and the builders took welding classes. We had to fly the whole team out to Florida, and it failed the first time, so we had to do it again. So that was pretty expensive. Probably $30,000 plus. Making videos can be pretty pricey, unfortunately.
What's your favorite kind of merch that you made?
Wow. Oh, man. Favorite merch? Andrew?
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's not you.
Who's over there? Well, I'm wearing the donut merch. I love donuts, so. And it says Laugh Daily, which is our channel motto and all that. So, thank you.
Yeah, I know we just dropped these shirts, but yeah, probably this line, the glow stick one. Obviously, just had to do. Glow in the dark's too cool. And then, yeah, he's got glow sticks. I'm sure a bunch of you have glow sticks. And then I kind of drew this one up simply. And so I'd probably say this one over the glow sticks for me.
Justin, why do you like glow sticks so much?
It wasn't something I was purposely trying to be all about.
This is genuine.
But I just genuinely am intrigued by how they work. And so they're just so cool when you crack them and they light up the whole space. And it's just I wasn't really good in school. And so I definitely wasn't good at science. And so whenever glow sticks are around, I'm just drawn towards them. But again, I wasn't trying to make glow sticks a thing for me, but everyone would comment about it. And then Andrew made it a thing what is with you and glow sticks? I'm well, I guess I just like them. So, yeah.
Okay, this is a question for Isaac. How long did it take to get all the makeup and hair and everything on?
Isaac? How long did it take to get all the makeup, hair, and everything on?
Today?
Fall out of his chair.
Are you thinking that Isaac?
in the movie.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Isaac was in the movie. Does that answer your question? So.
Or is she asking about Glizzo?
It took me an hour this morning.
That's my favorite question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Justin, were you nervous at all about playing a bad guy in the movie?
Yes.
Wow.
We were trying to figure out, because when he wrote the film, he's I have ideas for who would be this character and that character. And actually, rewind a little bit, we had Matt write, I think, 4 different scripts.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of work, unfortunately, because of us. But I think at the end of the day, it was just, did you pick me to be the villain?
I think what it was is the doctor was originally supposed to be the villain.
Yeah.
But I remember now, we'll see if my memory's correct, but I feel like you were the one that said hey, what if I play the villain? And I was okay, that's interesting, that's a different idea. I think that's how it came about.
Yeah, it was kind of just a decision where I was just like, yep, I'll be the villain. And because,
Yeah.
when you wrote the previous with the doctor being the villain,
Yes.
we liked Andrew's character of Phil
Sure.
and Nedry, and I think they stayed. And then we're like, okay, then I'll be the villain instead. And,
Sure.
But yeah, anyways, being the villain definitely was a little nerve-wracking because I'm not a villainous type person in general, and I've never pretended to be one for anything. And so I really had to kind of just be it. And but hopefully I was convincing enough.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Did you think Justin did a good job as the villain?
Ah, stop.
Look at you, villain!
There's Thanos, and then there's Robbie.
Yes. Barnabas.
Yes.
Have you ever got caught in an overnight video?
Caught in an overnight video. Good question. So 99% of the time, we're making sure we have permission from the owner of whatever overnight we're doing at. So no. But then there was the one time that we did the overnight in Walmart, and we were in the dog food. It was about 3 a.m. and they were stocking the shelves, but they didn't catch us. So no.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been caught plenty of times doing just toilet paper forts, but overnights, yeah, no.
Were there any moments when you failed over and over and over and over during the movie?
Wow. Can you think of any right off the top of your head?
I mean, there's so much going on that it feels like that sometimes, but ultimately when you're able to, there's so much that can go wrong. And by the end of the day, when you're able to actually get it, when we get to this point, it's like, whoa, we made it, you know? So yeah, there was a scary moment at a certain point, just where someone who was gonna work on the movie really late in the game dropped out. We had to find someone with barely like a week left before we had to send it in. And thankfully we found a guy from France who actually did the rest of the work of that job for us. So thank God for that.
Yeah.
I think when you're making movies, thankfully you get to film the same scene over and over and over again. And so like for me, when those long dialogue scenes, we had to like cut many times because it's like, I gotta remember my lines. And so I think those were like maybe the fail moments for me. It's just like, but thankfully we filmed it many times and I got it.
There was one moment, yeah, like Justin's saying, failing can be like more takes and whatnot. But there was one little tidbit. You know the scene where Justin smacks the pirate in the head with the bottle. So we had bought a few of these breakaway bottles, so we had a few times we could try it. So we got the first take, and it was pretty good. And so we're like, okay, let's go ahead and go for a second one. And Justin had the last bottle. Well, before that, actually, Matt was like getting ready to do a bottle. He was going to pick it up, and he just grabbed it a little too hard, and it smashed on the ground. I'm like, oh shoot, we're down to one last bottle. So we go to shoot it, and Justin, when he goes to smack the pirate in the head, he flings his hand back like this, and the bottle flies out of his hand.
It broke.
And broke. So we're like, oh, well, we got the one take, so that's the one that's in the movie.
I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the difference between production for a YouTube video and like the size of your production team to what it went to for the movie.
Wow. For a normal YouTube video, me, Justin, sometimes Isaac and Kreese will be in there. We'll brainstorm the ideas, and sometimes Kreese will help with booking locations or renting equipment that we might need. And then we have Drew who films it. And in terms of production, that's usually about it. But in terms of movie production,
Yeah. Well, and then it goes to the editors, and
Yeah.
it goes to the rough draft, and then it goes to the final draft, and so it's a pretty big process, depending on like if we're building something. Like this roller coaster one we did was like a month and a half of just building, and so we're having to film scenes over the month of like the build process, and then so that one's bigger. But yeah, movie.
Yeah.
What about movie, Matt?
For the movie, we had our cinematographer, right, who filmed everything. He had like 3 people helping him out. We had 2 sound guys. And then whenever we could snag like the build team to do a helping hand, they would do that. I was there as a director. Hannah was there like helping me. And that's I think that was most of the crew, and then you have all the actors, and then in post we have a composer, we had a sound mixer, and we had sound design and a colorist and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more people involved, and even what I just described to you, that's considered a really small set for a movie. Most movies have like 50 to 100 people on them.
And we film a video, get to watch it in 2 weeks and upload it.
Sure,
Movie,
yeah.
take a year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty drastic.
Was there any accidents or injuries during the set or on fight scene?
I don't think there were any accidents, actually.
Yeah.
It was actually fairly safe,
Yeah.
and we just told everyone to be very careful during the fight scenes because the builders literally built the whole set, and replacing a wall would be really difficult because of painting and like carving out like the wall foam pieces and everything. So no big problems.
The only injury was Robbie broke my heart with all his what he did. No, just kidding.
Why, Robbie?
Why?
Phil is just on my nerves.
Yeah.
Get him.
What was the most challenging thing about making the movie?
I guess there's a few things, but like going into it, we had like a budget in mind. Like, let's make the movie with this, and it ended up being triple the budget. And so it was kind of just that the nerves for us being like, this is something we really want to do. And we obviously, in order to be successful, we want to be like in the green with it. So we wanted to make money. And so that's kind of like been my biggest thing is like looking at it like that, being from a business perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. And then I'd say also our timeline, we tried to do it pretty quick because our whole goal was to do this movie tour, and we wanted to do it, one, because we hit 8 million subscribers, so you guys were expecting it, but then two, we wanted to do the tour during summer. So that kind of put us on this timeline of like, well, we have to have the script done by this date. We have to shoot by this date to give us enough time to edit by this date. So it was it's a little crunchy.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, what's the easiest genre of video to like make?
Like YouTube video?
Yeah, like what's the easiest like kind of video to make, like overnights or like the chicken coop video or like?
Probably budget challenges. And that's like the hard thing sometimes on YouTube is like, since we upload once a week, we have some like crazy ideas, but we have to upload every week on 2 channels. So some of those ideas we don't get to do. So that's why we end up doing a lot of budget challenges, because we can do them more on a quicker timeline.
So in the inflatable hotel video, wasn't there like a real pearl? And that was like a year ago. So what would happen with that?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Were we supposed to send it in or something?
I thought we did, but we didn't.
I don't. Oh man, we messed up. Can't remember.
Why is there 2 channels?
Yeah, good question. I mean, way back in the day, we started with JStuStudios, and that was like our main channel. And then we started this second channel called MoreJStu, and it was basically like a behind-the-scenes extra bloopers from like our main videos. That was the whole point of it. And that channel slowly evolved to daily vlogs, and then slowly evolved to forts and overnights, and eventually it became like so much more subscribers and views than our main channel. So we started focusing on that, and then JStuStudios, where we were doing pranks, and those we stopped doing, and then we kind of rebranded that into what it is today. So yeah, I mean, just going through the genres of YouTube, and yeah. And then also we started a podcast.
What was your favorite food on set?
Wow.
Carice made chili. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good chili.
Matt?
All right, any other?
One of the guys that worked on the movie, his son works at Orange Julius, and one day he just decided to treat us all and bought us all nice juices. So that was really cool. I like that.
Not necessarily a question, but you guys should have a concert for all the songs that you've done. Hold a concert
Yeah, that would be really fun. I know Isaac would be down for that. I guess we'd have to figure out when that is. Because when we did our live show like 3 years ago, we performed 3 of our songs. But we've done a lot of songs since, and we're only going to keep making new songs. We got Must Have Snacks 2 coming out Friday, I think. And a bunch of other stuff. Oh, that song you heard in the movie is out today. So if you want to listen to that, it's out. But yeah, good idea.
Matt mentioned deleted scenes earlier. I was just wondering, are you going to like upload those as like a separate video on YouTube, or are they just going to go into the void?
Definitely not into the void. That's a good question. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
I do, that scene you were talking about where Nedry just goes wild and smacks against a thing and falls down.
Yeah.
I do have an exported version of that full scene.
Wow.
So we could release that one and see what people think.
Yeah.
The bloopers would probably be so good. I feel like we had so many like times where we just break character and just laugh. And
Sure, yeah.
yeah, so we'll definitely do something with that.
What was your favorite scene to film?
I don't have one off the top of my head. Do you, Andrew?
I feel like all the scenes on the bridge were really fun to shoot, like the fight scenes and just. I liked all the scenes that had all the cast. So it was just a lot of fun. Not that the scenes with like just like me or Justin or me and Nedry weren't bad. Those ones were a little bit more stressful because you're trying to hit the beats you're trying to do as an actor and your lines and stuff. But like, as the full group, it was just so like chill and relaxed and just so much fun.
Yeah, 2 things. I would agree. Stuff with like the cast coming together and doing stuff was fun. Like that montage where they're brushing their teeth and all that stuff. That was fun. It was a little challenging because they were actually laughing so much, and we were like running out of time. It's like, guys, please. But when the cast is having fun, that makes it fun, you know. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed was Ratchet, his finale thing where he goes crazy and he goes after Andrew. I'm a big fan of like RoboCop and like Terminator and the Hulk, so that was my chance to do stuff that was like sort of like that. So that was fun.
How did you and Andrew become friends?
I moved next to him when I was really young. He lived in the neighborhood, and we just right next to each other. So we obviously were playing outside a lot and making movies back then. We had our like camcorder, and so we'd hang out all the time. And so it's been, I think I've lost track of how many years, like 16, 17 years, something like that.
Getting close to 20.
Yeah, getting close to 20. Yeah.
What are the next plans for JStu? Is it just going to be movies and podcasts, or is there anything else going to be going down the pipe?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely think the future vision is to make movies, but continue to make content that people want to watch on YouTube. We have our new warehouse being built right now. We're going to move into hopefully in the new year, and it's like double the size of our current warehouse. So that'll allow us to build more crazier sets and do things like that. So I think leveling up the YouTube content is always the goal. But this next vision is movies, and we also want to launch a snack product. So I think something like that is kind of doing something new.
What was your very first video? I tried to find one.
Back when YouTube was like just becoming a thing, Andrew and I created like separate channels, and we were uploading just videos on, and we weren't trying to make YouTube a business. We were literally just uploading for fun. And so I think one of our first videos on our main channel was a skit. Like we did like these goofy skits. So that's what you'll find if you look really hard.
I was wondering, for the tour coming up, what city are you most excited to visit?
For the tour coming up, I'm most excited for the New York City showing, just because that theater is like right in like Times Square. It's like right downtown. I think it's gonna be a ton of fun. But like all the other cities are gonna be a lot of fun too, because they're all sold out. Like I think Dallas was the first one to sell out, so that one's obviously gonna be pretty hype.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Denver didn't sell out as fast, but it's okay.
After seeing your movie on the big screen, what would be one thing you would change?
That's a good question. It's kind of, oh man. Well, we'll start with Matt.
I've seen the movie a billion times, so I feel like there's a lot I would change. One thing I would say is like, you feel like when you're making it, you feel like there's a lot of jokes in here. I feel like I would have thrown even more jokes in there, like just constant, a lot more of them.
Constant jokes.
Yeah, it's hard to like nitpick because
Yeah.
when you watch it so many times, it's easy to be like, oh, I would change that. Oh, I do that
Sure.
different.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick something, maybe it would be the effects. I guess I'd make them like a lot more high quality. But again, like if you want to change all these things, you need a way bigger budget. Like we had to work with a small budget that is pretty small comparatively to like film projects. So I think overall though, that's just nitpicking, you know.
Sure.
I still don't have an answer.
Well, that's good.
This is like the first time I've seen it on obviously the giant big screen, and I was just sitting here as we were watching it, and I would turn and look at all you guys in the crowd and just think how like cool it is that we took this idea of making a movie and we filled this theater. And to me, I was like, it can't do it any better. So
Just to add on to that, I totally agree. And at the end of the day, like we're really proud of it.
Yeah.
And whether it's successful or not doesn't matter because like I love being able to just create and accomplish something. And that's how I feel with like kind of Keepy Uppy, for example. Like we launched coffee and it didn't work out. And that's okay because like we got to create something new. And so like if anything, I hope it's an encouragement to you guys to like just create. Because it's fun to create, you learn something new, and God created us to create, and so have fun with it and enjoy it. And so at the end of the day, I'm pretty proud of what we were able to accomplish.
Yeah, me too.
How did Marv become your mascot?
Yeah, I feel like being into sports, like looking at the origin, like sports teams have mascots. Why can't a YouTuber have a mascot? And obviously, like with us, like loving donuts, we're like, let's just make a fun donut, and that's literally how it just came about.
Why is his name Marv?
Oh, why is his name Marv? Yeah, Andrew.
I don't know.
We are big fans of Home Alone, and so Marv is one of the goofy guys. So we're like, gotta go with Marv. He's just a classic guy.
Did they see him in the movie?
Oh yeah, did you guys see the Marv cameo on the what?
Yeah, he was on the soda.
Yeah, on the soda.
It looked like a beer bottle because the shatterable ones all look like beer bottles, but it was soda. Yeah, exactly.
How hard was the set to build?
Great question for us. Yeah, it went up so quick, like in a blink of an eye, the warehouse changed into a spaceship.
It was not that fast. It was not that fast.
Okay, part 2 to the question. Set has been destroyed, so the spaceship no longer exists. It was in the warehouse for a good, I don't know, maybe 2 months after shooting, and we're like, we have to have our warehouse back. But in terms of how long it took to build,
Yeah, months, because like I said, they built it like a house. Like every room, everything's connected, every nook and cranny was painted and designed. Whereas like after the fact, we do it probably a whole lot differently. Like I said, where it's like normal movies, they bring in walls that you can like remove so you can get farther away camera shots, but we had to work within the space. Again, doing it for the first time, learning. But yeah, Samuel, maybe you have the exact amount of time you spent on it and how much hair you lost.
Yeah, I lost a good amount of hair for sure.
Hey, me too.
Yeah,
thanks guys for asking questions.